A crowded airport is one of the loudest places in the world. Announcements echo from every corner. Suitcases roll across shiny floors. People rush past each other without making eye contact. But in the middle of all that noise, a poor deaf girl stood completely alone, trying to send a silent signal that almost no one could see. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Heartfelt Moments, where we share true-to-life stories that remind us how powerful kindness can be. Now, let me tell you what happened that day at the airport. It was a busy Friday afternoon at Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Families were heading out for vacations. Business travelers were glued to their phones. The food court was packed, and boarding calls echoed through the air. Near gate B12 stood a teenage girl named Lily. She looked about 16 years old. Her dark brown hair was tied back in a low ponytail, and she wore a faded denim jacket over a thin gray t-shirt. Her sneakers were worn at the edges, and she carried a small old backpack that looked much too light for someone traveling far. Lily couldn't hear the announcements. She couldn't hear her name being called. She couldn't hear anything at all. She had come to the airport alone, hoping to catch a flight to stay with her aunt in another state. Her mother had passed away months earlier, and her father had struggled to care for her. Money was tight. Communication was harder. Lily had learned to read lips and use basic sign language, but the world wasn't always patient. When Lily reached the check-in counter earlier that day, she had tried to explain that she didn't have enough money for the baggage fee. She signed carefully and showed a handwritten note. The employee behind the counter looked confused and rushed. The line was long. People were sighing. Eventually, Lily stepped aside. She clutched her ticket and walked toward the gate, unsure what to do next. She hadn't fully understood that without paying the fee, her bag couldn't be checked, and her seat might be given away. Now, at the gate, she noticed people lining up. The screen above flashed words she struggled to read from a distance. Her heart began to race. She tapped the shoulder of a nearby traveler and pointed to her ticket. The man gave her a quick glance and shrugged. He was in a hurry. Lily felt the familiar wave of panic rise in her chest. She lifted her hands slowly and made a simple sign for help. Then she pointed to the boarding screen, then back to her ticket. Her eyes searched every passing face. Dozens of adults walked by her. Some avoided eye contact. Some didn't understand what she was doing. A few smiled politely but kept moving. But someone was watching. Across from the gate sat a 7-year-old girl named Emma. She had curly blonde hair and wore bright pink sneakers with tiny silver stars. She was traveling with her mother, who was scrolling through her phone while waiting for their flight. Emma had been learning basic sign language at school because one of her classmates was deaf. She wasn't fluent, but she knew a few signs. When Emma saw Lily's hands move in the air, something clicked. "Mom," Emma whispered, tugging at her mother's sleeve. "That girl needs help." Her mother glanced up briefly. "Sweetie, I'm sure someone at the counter will help her." But Emma didn't look convinced. She watched Lily try again to get someone's attention. This time, Lily's hands trembled slightly. Her eyes looked shiny, like she was fighting back tears. Emma stood up. "Emma, wait," her mother called softly, but Emma was already walking toward Lily. The little girl stopped a few feet away and gently waved her hand to catch Lily's attention. When Lily turned, Emma carefully signed, "You." "Okay." The sign wasn't perfect, but it was clear. Lily's eyes widened in surprise. Someone understood. She quickly signed back, slower this time. "Boarding? I don't know. No here." Emma nodded seriously, trying her best to follow. She turned and pointed to the screen, then to Lily's ticket. "Same flight?" she asked out loud, then remembered, and signed the word for same. Lily nodded. Emma grabbed Lily's hand without hesitation. "Come," she said, signing the word she knew. Her mother, now fully paying attention, hurried over. "I'm so sorry," she said gently to Lily, realizing what was happening. "How can we help?" Lily pulled out her folded note explaining her situation. Emma's mother read it carefully. Her expression softened. Without making a big show of it, she walked with Lily to the gate counter. She calmly explained that Lily was deaf and hadn't understood the baggage issue earlier. She also quietly paid the small fee that was still owed. The gate agent's attitude changed once she understood. She apologized, and quickly reprinted Lily's boarding pass. When Lily received the new pass, she stared at it for a moment. Then she looked at Emma and her mother. Her lips trembled as she signed, "Thank you." Emma beamed and signed back, "Friend." The word was simple, but it meant everything. As they waited to board, Emma sat beside Lily. They didn't share many words. They didn't need to. Emma showed Lily a drawing app on her tablet, and Lily sketched a small heart between two stick figures holding hands. Other passengers began to notice. A businessman nearby put away his laptop and smiled. An older woman across the aisle wiped her eyes. Something had shifted in the air. When it was finally time to board, Lily hesitated for just a second. She turned to Emma and wrapped her arms around the little girl in a tight hug. It was the kind of hug that says more than 1,000 spoken words. Emma hugged her back without thinking twice. As Lily walked down the jet bridge, she didn't feel invisible anymore. She didn't feel alone. And Emma, holding her mother's hand, looked up and said, "Mom, it wasn't hard to help." Her mother squeezed her hand gently. "No, sweetheart," she replied. "It wasn't." That day, in one of the busiest, noisiest places in America, the most powerful message was delivered without a single sound. Kindness doesn't require a microphone. It doesn't need applause. Sometimes, it just needs someone willing to notice. A 7-year-old girl saw what dozens of adults missed. She didn't overthink it. She didn't assume someone else would step in. She simply chose to care. And that small choice changed everything for Lily. We never know who around us is silently asking for help. It might not always look dramatic. It might not always come with words. But if we slow down, if we truly see one another, we can become the answer to someone's quiet prayer. So the next time you're in a crowded place, an airport, a grocery store, a busy street, look up. Pay attention. Be the one who notices. Because even the smallest act of kindness can echo louder than the busiest airport in the world. And maybe, just maybe, your simple gesture will become someone else's unforgettable, heartfelt moment.